Hello, Colin. It's great to see you again, and we'd like to hear something about your recent experience at St. Gabriel's School. About a little bit about the school, what they were looking for, and how you came to set things up. Could you tell us about that?
Sure, yes. So St. Gabriel's, it's a private girls' school in Newbury, and they've always been very supportive of us, not least because they've got a Christian teacher there. Now, we already had a date in the diary for our assembly with the Year 7 girls, which we do every year, but they actually emailed me to say that in the pandemic situation, then on-site was no longer an option, and would I be happy to do something over Microsoft Teams as a live event. Now, as it happens, I'm very familiar with Microsoft Teams, and for those that might not know it, it's very similar to Zoom. And I also know that Teams is very prevalent across a lot of the schools now. So I said, yeah, I'm happy to give it a go. And I had a test call beforehand with the teacher just to make sure that everything worked smoothly. So I ended up giving a live presentation of about 20 minutes to 6 classrooms where the girls could see me, they could hear me, but I couldn't see or hear them. And in preparation, I delivered the testaments to the school the week beforehand to make sure that they were already in the classroom, and then the teachers could hand them out at the appropriate time as I prompted them.
That was really helpful. And I wonder, could you just share with us briefly what you said on the day, just give it a flavour of how you took the assignments?
Yes, so my approach has always been to engage with the pupils with questions throughout the talk, and questions that I know will interest them, but they're not obviously linked with God or the Bible. And also I made the effort to look into the camera and to pause after each question so that they can think about the answers and they can perhaps vocalize the answers in their classroom and amongst themselves. So as an example, I asked them what the population of the world is. And I also asked them what the following celebrities have in common. So Lewis Hamilton, Stormzy, Bear Grylls, Usain Bolt. I said, you know, what have they all got in common? And I just paused. And then I pointed out that about a third of the world's population are Christians, including all of those celebrities that they probably won't have realized, and myself. And I then explained that I was going to spend the next few minutes telling them why that is. So I got them to look at their testaments, which were presented to them, and I walked them through the structure of the New Testament and Psalms. We looked at the help section. Especially, I like to take them to the section on getting help for being worried, and that then links into Philippians 4, and then we go together to Philippians 4 and read it. I find that's always really powerful because we all know what it's like to be concerned, and it's something practical they can do from day one. You know, it's really showing them how this testament can actually help them. Finally looked at the 2-year diary so they could see where they could make a start. And last but not least, I always get them to put their name and date inside the front cover.
Thank you very much. And I wonder, could you tell us about the feedback? I think you asked if you could get feedback, and it's always good to learn, isn't it? So could you just tell us again if there's any feedback you got that's especially worth passing on?
Of course, yes. I mean, I have a good relationship with the lady there, and she did know it was my first time, and I was particularly keen to get feedback, positive or negative. You know, it's all constructive. And what I got back, it was very, very encouraging. So I've just picked one example, and this was feedback that came from the tutors who were actually in the classroom with the girls. And one of them said, I felt that the presentation was really well pitched and gave lots of relevant information without being pushy. My form really responded to the interactive elements like the questions and looking at different pages. The only thing that I felt could be improved was having a bit more time to answer the questions and maybe even have some more open questions for discussion, bracket, though I realized this would have made the session longer. So that was really positive, and I've only done one so far, but in my next one, I will make sure the pause is longer. And if I can get more time for the assemblies, which could be an option, given that the pupils don't have to walk to the hall, sit down, and then walk back to their classrooms, then I'll probably be bold enough to ask for a few more minutes if it's possible to get the most out of it. But I was very pleased with the feedback.
That's been a really interesting time with you. And are there any comments you'd like to pass on to anyone who's watching this who thinks we could do that in our school, anything that they could learn and think about as they prepare? Could you give us some comments?
Yeah, obviously praying beforehand that God will inspire us and that we will be his word for the children. That's always the case, I'm sure, for all of us. Preparing well, having a good script with plenty of questions and pauses for them to think about the answers and perhaps say something themselves. I think that's what keeps them engaged, and it makes it fun for them. Actually, it's not what they might think is going to be like a boring mini RE lesson, because you're keeping them on their toes. So having good questions, have your script on your PC screen just underneath your camera so that you can look at it a little bit like an auto cue, which I'm doing at the moment, rather than having to flick to papers or anything. It comes with practice, but you know, I'm sure we're all now getting very, very familiar with using Zoom, and we know what it's like when someone looks into the camera. So just get it set up on the PC beforehand, getting the testaments delivered beforehand, and making sure that they have arrived, or that you've got someone to get them into the classrooms so that they're ready to be handed out. And finally, I would say be confident. You know, this technology, God's given us this technology. COVID has made us all used to using the technology. So it's very friendly. We're all getting better at looking into the camera, which makes the experience at the far end much better. Have a test call the day before, just to see how easy it is to iron out any issues that there might be. But yeah, have confidence that God will make this an even better experience than we were getting face to face, because even though you're not actually seeing the reactions of the pupils, in all likelihood, they're getting a much closer view of what you're saying and what you're doing, and they're likely to be more focused.
Well, thanks very much for that and sharing it with us, and let's hope that it will be a blessing to others too. Thank you again.
You're very welcome, Peter. Thank you.